I want to make money, but I want to do it in a way that allows me to be in control. And that's what the tech game really did for me. It's helped me be in control of things. So that's how I really got in the game. That's what kept me in the game, because I was in control.
So what's one lesson or takeaway that was valuable to where you're at now in your career that you contribute to the tech industry?
Doing business. You start off in tech, you start off at the ground floor. And from the ground floor, I learned how to write proposals, put together contracts, talk to customers, relate to people, and learn how the industry moved as far as money. In my accolades, you said I spent time in banking. Yes, I spent a long time in banking. And one of the companies that I dealt with was a trading company. Everybody knows eTrade.com. And I never really paid attention. I really liked the channel CNBC. But when I got on E-Trade as an engineer and I had to sit in this room and design it and everything, I started watching CNBC. And watching CNBC, that's reality TV. I don't care what anybody say, you can talk about this and that and blah, blah, blah. You don't know what your world really like? Watch CNBC. You'll find out real fast if you got money or if you ain't got no money. Just that simple. So in learning that in the tech game, I kind of took that to heart and branched that off into real estate, doing mortgages, things like that, and met a bunch of dope people along the way that had the same mindset as me. So that's what I did.
Awesome, man. So got in the tech game, branched off into real estate. Tell me a little bit about your first deal and how you make that transition into real estate.
Man, my first deal was I was at a company and I was sitting on the bench because as a consultant, you got what's called, if you're not on site, you got bench time. So I'm sitting on the bench and I'm bored. And I was like, checks kept coming though, but I'm bored. So one day I just woke up and said, you know what, I'm gonna buy me a house. I'm gonna find a house and buy a house. So of course, me being 25 maybe, 24, 25, I reached out to some people, my father and everybody gave me this advice and everything, and buy this house and buy a whole bunch of land and all this and all that. But what people didn't tell me was how much that stuff costs every month to keep. It's not about the buying a house, it's keeping it. Now when I had bought these acres of land and this house and everything, and I was looking at a condo at first. I really wanted a condo bad, but no, it's not to do that. So I did the house instead, and just being bored, sitting on the couch. And I never forget it, the lender asked me a question. He said, do you have a job? I said, why you ask me that? We'll ask for a document. You're here in 20 minutes giving us the document. Because back then, it wasn't like no real serious emails and nothing like that. It was in the 90s. So I just bring the document to you here, and you'll be like, wait a minute, you here again? Like, yeah, what you need? Do you have a job? Like, yeah, I got a job, yeah. So I did that. I did a 15-year loan. This is so funny you asked me this too. I did a 15-year mortgage, and it was an FHA mortgage, 15-year term. That was it, 8% interest. Man, that thing made me so much cash. I was happy with that, 15. Now that's one piece of advice I got that I'm thankful for. Instead of taking the 30, I took the 15.
So when you took that 15, like for our viewers, what was some of the, I guess, advantages on the 15 versus just taking the 30?
Well,
a lot of people look at that 30 and they looking at like what their mortgage payments are going to be, and they'll take that 30 trying to get cheaper payments, because I'm sure that 15, the payments was a lot more on the 15, right?
It was $100 more to be exact, $106 more. I'll never forget it. $106 more, and what I did was I said to myself, okay, I ain't going to the club next week. I just cut 1 week out going to the club. That's basically what I did, and I threw a part of the house. However, and as a lender, I tell people this all the time, it's about your plan. Always have a plan for when you're borrowing money. Don't borrow money without a plan. That's rule number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't borrow no money without a plan. 10 coin. Don't do that. Always have a plan of things you want to do. That's number 1 rule. 2, the 30-year for me, like I said, the cost, the payment due was like $106 or something like that. It was something minuscule that I could literally just say, okay, well, this week right here, I just want to go to the club this week, And what it did for me was, in 5 years, I had so much equity built up that I could then say, I'm gonna go borrow some money from here and flip this money over here. And then that's how I started really flipping cash, was because I would borrow money against the house and put it over here, flip it, and pay it back, what have you. I think I refinanced that house probably 2 or 3 times.
So you bring up a very good point, man.
What's that?
You know, a lot of times people have equity in the house and they want to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the benefit of you borrowing money on it versus just selling the property outright? Because a lot of times you sell it, you can probably get more money than you can borrow on it. So there is a cap in most cases on what you can borrow, right?
Yeah, there's a cap. But because of the 15-year mortgage, I was paying it down so quick that the cap and the property was appreciating because I got it for dirt cheap. I bought it in Douglasville, Georgia. I got it for dirt cheap. And shoot, it was appreciating so fast because it was still building up that it was almost like taking candy from a baby. But not everybody's gonna have that same situation. Some people are gonna buy in areas that they're loyal to. And sometimes loyalty is not the best policy as far as that goes. I mean, a lot of my buddies, they bought way out in Lithonia, they bought way over here, whatever. I was like, I'm going to Douglasville. Now, Douglasville? So crazy was, I wound up selling the house about 7 years ago after I did a rehab, a serious rehab, sold the house. And wound up doing a loan for a guy and a family whose house was 6 houses down from that one. And the appraised value came in at $310,000. I paid $85,000. Think about that. I did that loan. I seen that appraisal come in at $310,000. I almost shit a brick. I said, ain't no way. Then my neighbor, whose husband passed away, how I got wind of it, she sold her house and he paid $110,000. And she sold it, she gave it away at $278,000. 280.
But at that point, you had already refinanced the house a few times.
Yep.
So you had already borrowed a lot of money against it.
Sure did.
So, you know, was there room to refinance it again, or it just made sense at the time to sell it?
Made sense time to sell it. Because again, I was in the middle of a rehab and I didn't want to do another rehab. So, you know, every 5-6 years, you got to rehab everything. I just put a new HVAC in there. I just did new floors. I just did new garage doors. I just did a bunch of new stuff, new countertops. I did concrete countertops the first time. I ain't never did that a day in my life. Concrete countertops. We did a kitchen, new appliances. You know, that stuff, that's the cost. Even though you're like, well, you know what, you ain't got nothing in the property but a couple of dollars, but I want all my chips and dip on the table. Give me this right here, this 9.